What's up, Bramblers? Your favorite CEO is back. And before we begin today's podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode. And follow Assistance HQ and Offsource HQ across all platforms to stay up to date on the latest content, updates, and more. And remember, if you need a virtual assistant, visit us at offsource.tech. Now, before we begin, a word from our sponsor. Officially recording. I think that today was a much easier setup, guys. We are now officially live on Facebook, at least according to Zoom. Doing a lot of exercises and everything going on today. It's going to be a pretty busy day. I have to go stop by the mailbox. Got to go to the post office and everything, drop some stuff off. But other than that, today's going to be a pretty good day. I did not get any sleep. Let's start there. I did not get any sleep last night. So what happened was I was just up. And then at some point I was like, dang, I'm up. I might as well hop on the computer. So I got some work done last night and everything, but it felt like a long night. Like normally if I stay up late, like I'm probably watching like a show that I really, really enjoy and everything. Like normally work won't keep me up like all the way through. Like at some point I'll be able to go to sleep. But in these kind of scenarios, it's more or less kind of like I was getting up, staying up, and then I was just like, my brain is active. Like my brain was just super active last night. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna hop on my computer, get some work done. I got a lot of content uploaded into where it's gonna get like edited and everything for later on today. Just kind of really got myself mentally prepared for what was gonna happen and everything going on. It's a pretty chill day, but I have a busy day tomorrow. So I'm trying to get a lot done. And I really want to get a lot set up for tomorrow, not tomorrow, for Monday, especially since next week I'll be going on kind of like not really a vacation. It's more like a trip. I'm not doing anything. I'm literally just going camping with my mom, and we're just gonna hang out like in an RV and everything. I have my Wi-Fi, so I have my laptop. I'll be out working. I'll be doing live, so don't worry, guys. I will certainly still be doing my lives and everything. This is day 2. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is day 2. Welcome to the Content Corner. I'm doing this every single day. I was not able to tag people because I had to go live like from the Zoom thing, but as things start like moving forward, I will be getting tags in. I play music of like the people. Yeah. So I didn't do the radio show yesterday. So that's the other thing. Like I'm really trying to now get into the habit of doing like twice every single day. And so I just checked my podcast and everything. I haven't done a podcast in 30 days almost. It was like in 3 days, I'll probably have not done a podcast in a month. And every single time I like get back into doing things and get more consistent, I was like, I'm back kind of thing. And I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to start posting. I have a lot, because the thing is, I have a lot to post now. Like we've been like churning out lots of content. Yesterday, I actually did an interview with one of our clients. We're getting a lot of testimonials now, not just like regular testimonials, actual like video testimonials. And so that's going to like really spread over into like a different area. But I'm focusing everything around marketing and primarily the promotion part of marketing, right? So we just redid the website. So essentially that could be like product, if you will, especially since I'm really trying to bring the website to be a lot more of the product. But once we get the app up and going and everything, like once we have like the official off-source app, then that'll be a lot different, right? Then we actually now can start talking about like the product look, the product design, stuff like that. As a service, you don't really have anything to offer. But in this day of digital age, you can have a website, right? And that's where people buy your services. And so that would be equivalent to like our branding on, say, like a package, on say like what we ship it to you, the box, the colors, all that kind of stuff is our website, because we want you to purchase from our website and then use our services. From there, I'm the account manager. So that means whenever, there's someone to deal with a client, I'm the person that actually talks and manages the client's expectations, lets them know the deadlines, updates, all that kind of stuff. Now, they don't need the updates from me because they can check the Zoho platform, which is our client portal. But usually they ask me. And so that's what I deal with, right? However, as of late, I've been heavily focusing on marketing. And so I've been doing a lot more of wearing like branded outfits, I guess, not really branded outfits, but more or less branded gear. Like as you guys see, I have my sweater on today. I didn't have it on yesterday, but in my meetings with clients, I had it on. So except for one. So I've been trying to do a lot better job at every time people see me, I have like something of mine on, like it's off source, it's off source, it's off source. Whenever I'm posting content, I'm branding the content. I have like, I'm getting a certain look to it. I'm putting colors behind it, you know, putting like a little logo and everything in like the corners and whatnot. So really focusing on what clients see when they see us, and how do they associate us with our brand, which is off source. And then from there, like everything around like the marketing. And so now we're really getting into like paid ads. I'm going to be doing like some, not necessarily like influencer kits, because I've owed like some people a couple of things, but we have like some more gear, some more merch coming in. Things are just starting to now hopefully look up. And so hopefully my goal is that the second half of the year, I always dictate my birthday as being like the middle of the year. I don't think it's the exact middle day of the year. But June is the 6th month. There's only 12 months, and I'm born on the 19th. So, you know, count up all the +1 days or whatnot. I'm sure I'm close to like that time. I'm sure I'm pretty close to being in the middle of the month. So with where everything is going, my goal is that starting Monday, things start picking up, especially once we start running these SEM strategies, which is basically code for Google search. Like we're just going to be putting money into Google search, not just Google search, obviously, but heavily, primarily first Google search, because we're focusing on bottom of the funnel, and we really, really want to draw like those first, not first, but I guess from the marketing campaign perspective, hit our goal of doing 20 clients in 45 days, which would really change our trajectory going forward, because we'd have more referrals, because we now have more content, because we can get more testimonials, all that kind of stuff can start to like grow. You know, if we can hit that goal, we add another person to the team. So I'm really hoping that things start going up. And that's why I've been focusing on everything market. I'm in like full on marketing mode. And I've really come, like growing up, I've always had a draw towards content. I can't draw. I don't want you to think I can draw, but I've always had like an affinity, if you will, towards like creating content or marketing or just getting my message out there so that people buy. Like, even if it was back in the day, like a lot more salesy, because I was doing like door to door and things like that, but always have been around the idea of like marketing. And especially after watching the show Mad Men and everything, I'm really like, I just love, because that's where my creative ideas come from, right? It's, oh, I'd love to try this idea, I'd love to try this idea, I'd love to try this idea, I'd love to try this idea. Like, I think those would be great ads. Now I get to apply that same creative knowledge to my business. The only difference is I don't have a Coca-Cola budget, right? We have a small marketing budget and we can do small things. So the issue, I guess, is really trying to fit these extravagant or extraordinary kind of ideas sometimes into like these super, super finite type budgets, or finding a way to DIY. And that's actually going to, because I'm focusing on marketing, a lot of my content right now is going to be probably geared towards DIY marketing. So a lot of my content that I'm creating is focused on, you know, the business owner, the solopreneur, small business owners, all that kind of stuff. And so what I'm really focusing on trying to do then is show other solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, business owners, and everything, the only thing that I can really show them, what I'm doing. I can say, hey, this is what I think would work, and this is why I think would work, and this is what I'm going to try. Like, this is what I think would work, and this is what I'm going to try. Just like in that 4 minutes of marketing strategy video that I dropped. It was 4 minutes of pure strategy of exactly something that I'm doing, right? Where I went to like some competitor websites, I looked at their keywords, I looked at how their flow was, I looked at the details, how large they were, how long they've been in business. So, you know, just making some, I guess, guesstimates, if you will, some hypotheses based on the data that I collected, and then creating a strategy based on just what works. Like, everyone is so focused on being new, on being first, on being, you know, in the market space and being the only person in that market space because we are that unique. Where the real reality of like literally everything, nothing is almost like, it takes dumb energy, super amounts of energy to even come close to like creating something new. For example, who created the color blue? Who said that this was going, like, these are all blues? Not only is this blue, these are different shades of blue. Like, think about that, right? There are companies that have come up with their own color, right? Think about, like, so I'm going to Google really quick because I got you guys right here, really quick. A super simple Google search will tell you companies that created their own color, right? Tiffany and Co. Image Plus One Shutterstock, Post-its, which I'm assuming is that like that yellow, which is very, very popular whenever you're doing like note taking and documents and stuff like that. That Postmates kind of yellow. T-Mobile has like that weird magenta-y, purpley kind of color. They have trademarked colors, right? And so, how do we determine? Because trademark means like they own that. No one else can use that. Nobody else can use that hex color. So it's almost like it was created, but the color and shades of blue were created. People create new colors. I have no idea how to create a new color. Like, when I look at a color wheel, I see no room for new color. But people and artists that do, they do see new color. So I think a lot of the things that people love are just super, 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 super better versions of things that they already were comfortable with. No, like, for example, Facebook. It was like the largest thing. Everybody compares like a startup, like, and being a social media to Facebook. Like, oh, Facebook changed the entire world. Like, oh my gosh, Facebook did all this stuff for social media. And it did. But it wasn't the first. Y'all were on MySpace prior to that. There is fundamentally no difference between MySpace and Facebook. What is MySpace? A website on the internet in which you talked to your friends. You added them, you uploaded pictures, you uploaded statuses, and you connected with people. What is Facebook? A website that you upload pictures and videos to and connect and share with your friends. The exact same fundamental concept, but marketing, your angle, your slight small differences are what make you better and what differentiate you and what separate you and what puts you apart and all that kind of stuff. So when we talk about, creating content in the particular perspective of what I'm doing, one of the things I'm extremely great at is, I'm not going to use like the word, but I'm great at drawing inspiration from things. And I think that is an on the fly best way to describe like the action, right? Everybody is consistently and constantly drawing inspiration from other things. So you like, when we look at weight machines, right? We all think about loving going to the gym, but it would be very easy to do the exact same things or get the same kind of workout at a gym at your house if you took the time to actually study. You might need like a set of dumbbells, a stretch thing, and like a yoga mat, maybe. Like, you probably need 3 or 4 key items. And if you're going to a gym, I'm sure you have the money to afford these 3 or 4 key items, especially because they're not even expensive. A yoga mat, weights, and especially if you're new, you don't even need heavy weights. I use 30-pound weights, like dumbbell curls, 30 pounds, nothing crazy. Simple 20-pound, 30-pound curls, right? But when people put their spin on it, when people put their inspiration on it, right? People love to socialize and people love to do activities. People love to do activities with their friends. So what do people do? They take a bunch of things that people love to do and then just add a social aspect to it. So instead of working out at home where there's, I don't want to say no motivation, but less motivation, you go to the gym where there's a bunch of equipment. You can get a trainer. It makes it easy. There's a social aspect. You can have like an accountability partner, all that kind of stuff, So that is where inspiration is drawn from and how it's put back out. And that's essentially what I'm very, very, very good at, especially when it comes to marketing, because I draw ideas from everything. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. So, for example, one of the things that really got me started is I was going through a thread last night, and it was just asking, like, it was geared towards like people in like, like the business and startup world and everything. But the question was, what is like your favorite marketing ad, or what is your like your favorite ad and everything? And a lot, like some of the most consistent ones I've seen that people absolutely love are like there's Coca-Cola ad, right? So what happened was Pepsi did a Halloween ad, right? And what they did was they put they put the Coca-Cola can like a shield, not like a shield, but like it was at first glance shedding its skin and really saying, "Ha, it's not Coke, it's not Coca-Cola, it's Pepsi." And so they were basically saying, "Hey, happy Halloween." They were basically making a diss at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola did not do anything. They took the exact same ad. They didn't change it. They didn't updo it. They literally just changed the words in the ad. Like the same, like, I gotta pull it up, man, because it was literally that. I don't know if I got time to even really pull it up, right? But what happened was Pepsi said, haha, this joke's on you. Coca-Cola said, haha, everybody wants to be us. Like, think about that, right? So the costume, they said, hey, you guys are drinking, like, you're drinking Coca-Cola, but it's not really Coca, it's just Pepsi. And you might as well drink Pepsi, basically. And so Coca-Cola said, haha, it's a costume because everybody wants to be us. We're the best. And so essentially that was the marketing play. Another very large one is the Coca-Cola on the hilltop ad, right? Where everybody's singing and they want to share the world with Coke. And I actually read some backstory on that. And then the Volkswagen ad, like there was Volkswagen came up multiple times. The Apple original Think Different commercial came up a bunch of times. I also saw the iconic iPod, like the original iPod, like the scrolly one when you had to go like this and everything like that, right? That original iPod like thing where it said 1,000 songs in your pocket, like that was new. 1,000 songs that you want in your pocket. What? They just put 1,000 songs. Most people, like, how long would it take for you to listen to 1,000? Now we literally have an infinite amount of songs on our phone. But think about it, on a device that was not a phone, 1,000 songs. And so all of these things are amazing ideas, but they draw inspiration. They eat when you look into the backstory, which is one of the things that was my rabbit holes last night. And what I kind of like when I was working is I was going into research what inspired some of like the creativity behind those ads and everything. And every time, like the most common theme was they drew inspiration from somewhere else. It was not 100% organic, original, or anything. It was just, I'm experiencing something, and then like it gives me an idea. It gives me like this thought process that says, hey, I'm here, I feel happy, I'm experiencing, a great time with my family and friends. How do I mimic this feeling, this aura, this situation, and this visual? How do I visually match what I'm seeing to what I'm feeling and then translate that into something not exactly the same, but very slightly similar, and then apply it to something that had nothing to do with it in the beginning, right? So when we look at what's a great example? I guess I can use the Coke ad. And it wasn't really like something that was like all the way left field, but basically what happened was this guy Baker, he was like in Europe and everything. So he wasn't even like in America, but Coca-Cola, I believe, was in Europe at the time. And he was just experiencing like some euphoric happiness and everything. And it just like experiencing the idea of community and sharing and wanting everyone to feel just like this. And so on a piece of napkin, he wrote down, I want to buy a Coke and like share it with the world or something like that, right? I want to buy a Coke for the world and share it and everything like that. that is what sparked like probably one of the most memorable and most known commercials of all time that people still talk about to this day and in marketing classes and ad classes and all that kind of stuff. Because when people draw inspiration from things, right? Think about Tesla. Why are they wildly so popular? It's just a car. It's just like there's Toyotas, there's Hondas, there's Lexuses, there's Mercedes, there's BMWs. How come Tesla came along and said, we're going to make exactly what all of you guys make? But it's electric, fully electric, not hybrid, fully electric. What kind of thought was that? Like it's the exact same thing that we're used to, which is driving a car, but with their own caveat and spin on it. Same thing with SpaceX. Reusable rockets. We've had rockets before. We've had launches and everything like that. But now let's take the idea of a filter or something that we literally just clean, right? We use our car multiple times. So if we can use our car multiple times, if we can fly a plane multiple times and all we have to do is refuel it, why can we not do the same with a rocket? Why can we not have a reusable rocket? We spend all of this money and it is literally a one-time ordeal. Why does it take a super scientist to make it reusable? No one previously was like, yo, we have planes and we have cars and we just refill them and keep it pushing. What if we were able to refuel a rocket? No one was like, oh, everyone assumed it was too hard. And so that's where the differentiators come in. You're able to come in because people don't want to do it. People feel too lazy to do it, or people think it cannot be done. And so that's where you can wiggle your way in. But all that to say that creativity comes from something. It stems from some people are inspired. That is the most common theme from all creatives. I was inspired to do this. When you're inspired from something, right, that means there's some form of external force, if you will. There's some external force that is literally telling you, hey, this would be a great idea if you tried something like this, that like, or you see something and you had a problem and you're like, oh, that would be like the perfect solution to my problem, So what Henry Ford did, for example, was not, he didn't do anything super special. He made cars. Cars already existed when Henry Ford came about. What did Henry Ford do? He said, let's just make them cheaper. How can we make these cars cheaper? And he said, they built an assembly line. So one person just puts it on, the next person puts it on. So more people doing a lot less work per person means each person can move at a faster rate. The faster that we can move, the more cars that we can produce. The more cars that we can produce, the more money that we can make by selling it to people that can't really afford these other cars. So he found a way to make it cheaper. The market was there for the cars because people already had cars. And now that he made it cheaper, that market can't afford it. And so that's kind of what my goal is for Off-Source, if you will. Taking something that was once not reachable for a certain group of people and make it reachable. It can be done. And that's literally what it is. Making employment reachable, but at the same time, making it easier on the actual worker. So when cars are assembled by one person, there's a lot of detail and everything, but it's a lot of strenuous work on one single person. When it's a construction, when it's the operation line, less work per person. That person now can because they might say make the same amount of money as somebody else or a different, car manufacturing company. And Ford is now like probably the largest car manufacturer in America. Like that's American based, obviously. Not, they don't beat out Toyota in terms of like overall sales, but Ford is very, very, very popular. And especially during the time where, we didn't have all of those other things. And it was like Ford was still new. Like Ford was like the American car. Like, oh, Ford, American, that's the American car. Like it was super, super big Ford, like back, especially growing up and everything. Not me, but like, other people. So what did he do? He made something cheaper, made it easier on the workers, comped them basically the same, and then offer this particular product to the right people. And so that's what I'm trying to do, or emulate, if you will, with off-source. What I'm trying to do is essentially decommodify the idea of employment, right? So historically, companies have controlled the wages. So I don't think that historically, I'm gonna really, really change history in any crazy way. But also historically, companies have a habit of copying what other companies do. If it works, should it work? Tesla comes out, now all of a sudden, all these cars are coming out with, all these car companies and manufacturers are coming out with their own fully electric version. And now when you think about it, Tesla's been around for some time. Why did it take them so long to come out with an electric car? We had hybrids. We had already had hybrid cars before Tesla got super big. Like they were existed, but they weren't super big. We had already had, like hybrid cars and like trying to get more fuel efficient and all that kind of stuff. So why did it take so long for cars to adapt? But it happens at some point, right? And so the same thing is what I'm trying to look to do is have companies emulate how I operate in business, which is essentially treating people well, paying them good money, and respecting them, giving them what they need to do in terms of work and nothing more and nothing less. This is what your scope is, and we're not going to step outside of that scope unless you agree. And you have all rights to not agree, and there's literally no types of penalties against you. And the goal is, if you can be a social media manager at, Coca-Cola or, at DreamWorks or wherever you want to be a social media manager at, because of their name, they can pay you a lot less money. Like there are companies because of their name that will pay you less money. Banks are highly known for doing it, for especially like interns and like new people. Banks are highly known, like Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, kind of all that kind of stuff. Because it's a top firm and everything like that, they'll probably pay you 30, 40, $50,000 a year, which is absolutely less than, what the actual market price is. But, you don't care really, because you're like, oh, I work at Merrill Lynch. Oh, I work at Bank of America. Oh, I work at Apple, all this other stuff. Oh, I work at this great big company. But they don't pay you a great big amount for what they don't even pay you what the proper amount. You're getting underpaid because you want to work at this big company. So what if we were able to allow people to still work for those large companies, but then just be paid more? Now, when you think about it, why do companies outsource work? Because it's cheaper. So how do I make it so it's cheaper? It's not cheaper than India, no. But how do I make it so that it's cheaper to outsource here and still maintain the same level of quality and value, still maintain the same service? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So now as soon as I saw that problem, now I have like a moat. Companies are like saying, hey, we want to work with off-source because he has talent. Why do I have talent? I have talent because I pay better, I treat them better, I provide better for them, and I respect them. So if you would like to beat me out, you have to pay better than me. You have to pay more attention to them than me. You have to be better at managing and communicating and respecting them than me. And you have to treat them better than me. Now, with all of that being said, right, should we get large enough to where that is the case? Companies say, you know what, we're not gonna buy from off-source. We are actually just going to outprice him. We are just going to exorbitantly increase the amount of that we pay for the jobs that you can go get at off-source, so that we don't have to pay off-source and allow this company to grow. We're going to stunt their growth, and we're going to hire all these people at double what we would normally pay, offer more benefits, treat them with respect, fire all the bad managers, and really change out the culture of the company. If companies chose to do all of that and actually put that kind of effort into beating me out as I continue to grow, I don't care. I won. That is my goal from the beginning. If every company is like, yo, we're gonna double up on and crush him and pay our employees a whole lot more so he can't get talent, I'm fine. That was our whole mission anyway. If you put if we put doctors out of business, I don't think there's really Yeah, I lost that stream of income. But if you ask a true doctor that cares about people, he would love to go out of business if there was actually no market for it, right? If there was literally no market for it. So that would mean nobody's getting shot, nobody's getting sick, nobody's breaking any bones, no, none of that kind of stuff, right? Then the doctor would go out of business. For example, if restaurants collectively gathered together and said, instead of throwing food out, we are going to feed the kids, right? We are going to feed the people that need food. And you cured hunger within America, because it's super hard to think of a worldwide thing. But if we primarily cured, not we don't have to be 100%, but if we primarily cured hunger within just America, how many scandalous and skeezy nonprofits that are on the guise of giving and trying to cure or fix something like hunger, but really is lining the pockets of other people, there would be no market for them because people are doing good. And so when a company is based on doing good and they excel at doing good, it's extremely hard to beat them out because you have to do better than good. And that is what people just aren't good. Like, they're not good at being good. And I think that's, I don't want to say sad. Like, I'm really trying to be careful with my word choice and everything, right? But that's like super big for a lot of things. If you're going to be good, and not good as in like quality level kind of good, that's not what I'm talking about right now. While you do have to have a great quality, we're talking about being good at the core, on the inside. How do you feel about yourself and what the company is doing, what the company stands for, what actions the company is actually taking in effort based on what it stands for? So if you're, if you're saying we're a very diverse and we support, diversity and all races and groups, why is only 1 or 2% of your entire staff, people of color? Explain that. Why do you have no women on your board? Explain that. But it's about diversity though, right? You're about diversity, but your actions don't show that. And so especially in this day and age of social media, where we can see how a company's actions and what they do align, just like with people trying to boycott Chick-fil-A because of them donating to anti-LGBT. They're still in business though, right? But there's still people that are like, yo, I don't eat at Chick-fil-A because I don't want to support them in what they do. In order for someone to come along and then put their money where their mouth is and then actually beat these people out and beat somebody, you have to do good. You have to be a better person, meaning you have to be a better person-driven company to beat out somebody like me, is what I'm trying to do, which is why a company like Tom's went super far, right? For every shoe that we give, we're going to make sure someone else gets one and everything, right? People care about people to some degree, not even for everybody. But my goal is that if that were to happen, I succeeded in my job. If I got priced out because companies said we're going to pay $100,000, or even if they came in and said we're going to pay $20,000 more than what Angela was paying, that's going to be this kind of thing that was like, that would make me happy. And so bringing it full circle, I guess, when, why I'm going to be doing a lot of DIY marketing, why I'm going to be doing a lot of talking about marketing, is because that's the stage that I'm in. And I really, really do enjoy and I love it. Now, there's different assets to the business. And I think with whatever the business needs at that point, I'm very fond of doing. But creating content and really getting client acquisitions, everything surrounding a client acquisition, I'm not even going to use the word marketing, right? Everything surrounding client acquisitions is what I love to do. So whether that's putting to especially the idea part, right? I love creating. I love ideas. I love just sitting here thinking, coming up and spitballing an idea. But as I talked about yesterday, ideas are absolutely nothing without action. Absolutely nothing without action. And so what has to, kind of begin happening is when people have ideas, and I'm speaking specifically, I guess, for me, when there's an idea, there has to be execution. And so trying to balance the idea of being creative with actually executing and still getting a whole bunch of other work done. There's a whole bunch of things that go on in that particular aspect, and so it can be kind of hard to see how those things go on and everything like that. So it's slightly different in that kind of like dynamic and everything, if you will. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of I'm switching gears. I know I said that was the end of that thought. I want to switch gears real quick to like, give you guys, I guess, some hot pointers what I'm doing, right? So an idea that I had is I saw like a couple of ads, and one of the things I've been seeing is people are running like, I don't want to say Zoom ads, but essentially because we're in the pandemic kind of still, and even especially during 2020, I saw ads with people on Zoom, right? The actual ad was a screen recording of them on Zoom talking with their team about what they do and how they've adjusted during the pandemic. And I was thinking, the same way that companies take uh, the reviews, right? When you see commercials that it's like, oh, we love Allstate or we love Progressive because of XYZ. And then sometimes I'll say at the bottom, I'll say, not a real client, like not a real customer, this is a paid actor. Or sometimes they'll say, this is not a paid actor. What I decided to do was say, what if I just hop on Zoom with an actual client, bunch of our clients, chop up a video, and then make a video literally based on just my clients. Like, and think about that. It's absolutely free. I'm not going to say absolutely free, but it's the closest thing to free that you can get, right? So if you're doing well and you have clients, ask them for like to do a quick 5-minute interview. Who are you and what do you do? Why do you do what you do? Why do you use us? What made you stay? What made you sign on with us? That kind of stuff. You clip out the part where they're talking about just you, bringing value to your business, with probably, up talking you and all that kind of stuff. You chop it up, make a like small clip out of it. You do that with a couple more clients. You get a couple of small clips that you got chopped up. You mash them together to make like some creative idea that's unique to you. And now you got a nice little commercial for YouTube Prevo. And it's going to be authentic. You can brand it the way you want around Canva, all that kind of stuff. And if you're really, really, really trying to get cheap into it, literally cut it and post the raw photo. Like literally, you don't have to stitch them together. Take each individual video, cut it up into, like the actual segment that you need, and then just literally run it. Perfect thing. And I can't even say perfect because I don't know if it's really going to work because I'm, going to try it. But that's what I mean by like linking the creativity and then executing on it. And then actually just like, that's what I love to do. And so starting next week, when we start running our campaign, I'm going to get to see my fruitions come into life. And I have so many different ideas that it's extremely hard to pick one. And when you're by yourself, sometimes it's still even harder to pick one because you don't have any idea. You don't have someone to say, I like it or I don't like it. So even if someone says, I don't like it, and they don't tell you what they do like, you can just cancel that out and go by process of elimination. You like these ones more. It just matters like this was the worst one, and that's fine. So I'm everything is going to be like heavy DIY, especially for like creating content, putting out like YouTubes and podcasts. I'm not even crazy big on YouTube. Like I said earlier in this particular episode, I've been away from podcasting for like 30 days almost, and so I'm really jumping back in. And I used to do like this, like I said, I used to do like this large. I'm back. I'm getting back onto it. I'm just like, no, it's kind of like psyching myself out a little bit. Just get in and do it. So I'm already on day 2. Just focus on doing a day 3. That's all I really care about. Like just focus on doing the next day. So if I'm doing it right now, the only thing for tomorrow is I'm thinking I gotta do a podcast tomorrow, regardless of what happens. And that's really what I guess is kind of going on, if you will. Because like I said, it's really my goal more or less to change the wage industry. Now, I can't say wage industry, but it's really my goal to just have other companies copy me and be like, oh, we like what you do. And so we're going to have you do that for, everybody. Or people copy me and they're like, we don't like what you do. So we'll just pay your people more than what you pay them, at least, because you can't just raise the price and then, think they still won't come to me if it's still not high enough and we pay more. So but it's the same concept that matters. It's the same concept that matters. Hey Ramblers, that's it. Podcast is over. Don't leave yet though. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, and follow us on YouTube at OffSource HQ. We'll see you next time.